the value in life is the connections that you have. Building, and it'll be with those investors. They're relying on, these are their IRAs, 401ks, they've gone through divorces and scares of illnesses and so forth. They are gonna ask you, I'm gonna roll my 401k into an IRA, and then I'm gonna invest my life savings with you. And they're gonna look in your eyes and they're gonna beg you to take care of them. And that's your job. That's a higher calling. You're not just taking care of your personal affairs, you're taking care of other people's families now. That's biblical. Act like it. Hi guys, hey everybody, Ryan Garland here. Thank you very much for having me. I feel honored to be here. This is gonna be a little more unorthodox than probably any other event that you've seen other speakers at because of how I operate. So for those of you, thank you very much, by the way. Rich, that was a very nice introduction. So backstory, my name is Ryan Garland. I am the founder and chairman of a private equity firm, and I am a perfect example that you can start from literally nothing. So I started actually slinging mortgages in call centers. I was that nerd on the other phone, like literally dialing for dollars. And now we have about $500 million right now under development, about almost $1 billion under management. And I manage multiple different private equity funds, mostly SPVs, special purpose vehicles that are all tailored for specific projects that I go and raise debt and equity for. And kind of, I'll give you guys kind of a whole backstory, but I think most of you guys here are really trying to raise capital, right? You guys are trying to learn to raise capital. How many of you guys are trying to raise capital right now? How many of you guys are currently operating a project right now? Okay, by the way, we have a securities attorney here. So everything I say, just make sure I say it right, okay? You hold me accountable, babe.
The best SEC counsel in the game. Yeah. So bad.
He's too far above. She just runs the firm now. She doesn't even practice that much anymore. She's just running it. So we had a good conversation. It was an honor to meet you, by the way. Okay, so I'm going to start something a little different. And the reason is because I think you guys need to understand the psychology behind raising capital. And the number one thing, and I really love kind of some of the social media kind of presenters here, that you really have to get to a point where you stop giving a shit about what people think. I'm serious. Like, for real. You're a fucking loser if you seriously give a shit about what everybody thinks. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story so you guys can understand why you get to a point where you're so humbled and on your knees, you have no other choice but to break and then stop caring. I'm that guy. I'm the one that runs 100 million miles an hour and then I just fucking hit walls and I lose my marriage and I lose my kids. And then I find out what the path I'm really cut for. And then I look inward and go, damn, I fucked up bad. Trust me, you don't want to live that life. So I'm going to give you a quick story, and it's funny because Joe, by the way, Joe's my best friend, my videographer. I'm beyond blessed because I've rebuilt my life. And I actually have full custody of my oldest son. He's a 17-year-old son. I'm a 17-year-old baseball player, Division I starting catcher. He's being looked at by Georgia Tech. He actually got an offer from Hawaiian Pacific. He's a Christian boy that is trying to wait to have sex until he's married. That's the flex. But it's because I made the mistakes. And he saw it and he lived it and he grew with me. He grew up with me. So I'm going to give you a quick backstory. And I have a million stories. And Joe may tell me to tell another story, but I'm going to start with just one. I've been in the space for 20 years. As soon as I got out of high school, I started working for a civil engineering firm. So I cut my teeth in the corporate space real fast. Okay? I got beat down in that space because you have a lot of smart people that I end up having to work under, and they just beat the shit out of you until you figure out where you're going to fit in pretty much in the civil space. I ended up going from the civil engineering, I moved into kind of a project manager, into a survey tech, and I oversaw, does anybody know about, are you guys all from like Southern California? Okay, I grew up in Riverside. So Riverside has one of the largest civil engineering firms in the country. It's called Albert A. Webb Associates. That's who I worked for. They ran all the Lennar, KB Homes, Pulte Homes, most of the development on the 215-15 interchange going south towards Temecula, all the way down to San Diego. That's most of their contracts. I helped them. Every house that you guys see in Marietta, Temecula, for the most part, that was built in 2010 and up, I staked it. A lot of the UPS big box projects that are right there, like box commercial buildings, right there on the 60 freeway, the 15, 60, 10, all those interchanges, those big box stores, I was the one who placed those projects. So I'm kind of a math guy, okay, by trade. That helped me getting into the mortgage space real quickly, as you can imagine. Mortgage-backed securities, understand selling notes, how to trade notes, what money's really looking for, stock market trades, and understanding what the psychology is behind trades. What ended up happening was in 2008, my wife at the time got pregnant. Yes, I'm super excited. But what happened in 2008? Someone tell me what happened in 08, right? Fuck. And I was the guy. Okay, anybody seen The Big Short? Do you guys remember when they were interviewing that fucking little nutsack? What's his name? The little loan officer at the bar, and he's like, yeah. He's all like, that was me. 100%. I was slanging option arm mortgages. I was making 70 grand a mortgage. I was an in-house lender for Prudential. I built 17 homes on the show, $1 million listing. The list goes on. I was literally I was the top producer in the country for 4 straight years. I was making $2-3 million a month. As a firm, I had paid other people, but we were absolutely slaying it back in 08. Got a woman pregnant, loved her. She was super sweet, super hot. What was that makeup store at Nordstrom's back in the day? Someone I know, girls, come on. You guys are all fired. How do you guys know? You guys are all too pretty for that shit, I guess. So, but I ended up meeting her, and she was a wonderful woman. But what happened was she got pregnant. This is in late 2007. My son was born in July of 08. On May 31st, I get a phone call from 2 of my best friends. Hey, we're going to get together. We're going to go have some drinks. When you're done with the office, come meet me. Mind you, I'm in scramble mode. The market's already taking a shit, okay? So we were going from 200 loans, 300 loans a month to like 1 or 2. I'm already on my exit, okay? And I'll give you guys another story to show you how I got back on my feet, but this is kind of where it started for me. So we all go out. I meet them 3 hours later after they started drinking and kicking it out of bar. It's like a little restaurant bar. My ex-high school sweetheart's there, so she's like, hey, I have a good relationship with her, thank God. So she's like, hey, let me give you a couple beers, catch up with the boys. I caught up. We're going to go down to another bar called Killarney's in Riverside. Some of you guys know that place. It's like a high school. I went to Ramona. So we're on our way down. I only had, 3 beers. My other buddies were drinking quite a bit. I had a twin-turbo M6 BMW. I was a big car nerd even then. I'm coming down to a stoplight. They came out of the development. They were at the stoplight already stopped. I'm coming down going maybe 40 or 50. I'd blow off valves. I go to pass them. The light turns green. I go and I blow off, just kind of fuck with them, right? And they go to catch up to me. I'm like, okay, you guys want to race? Well, guess what happened? Someone got in an accident. That was my best friend. My best friend was dying in my arms. I watched it happen in my rearview mirror. Larry H. Parker called me, almost sued me, to give you guys an idea how bad this got. So I watched it all happen. I had one of my buddies with me. It's kind of a reunion. It was like 3 of us all getting, 4 of us that were all getting together, spent some time together, but 3 of us grew up with each other. The guy that was in the passenger seat just graduated from Riverside Sheriff's Department. One of the reasons why we're going out to celebrate. I'm also having a son. We're trying to celebrate that. And one of my other buddies came back to town and opened a business. We're trying to celebrate that. So it's just more of a celebration. So I stop, obviously. I go up to the car. The car's leaning on the side of a hill because he wrapped the car, the passenger side, around a pole, a concrete pole. There's a light bar. And it's kind of leaning down this hill. I come around the driver's side. I open up the door. The driver, by the way, in the GTIs back in the day, when they get, the front end gets in an accident or side gets in the accident, the front seats drop down, slide back. If you guys know anything about it, that's so the motor doesn't fall on your feet, right? And that's a long story. So he slid back, but the passenger didn't because he wrapped around the pole. My passenger, his name is Will, the passenger. This is the guy I grew up with. His neck was so swollen from trying to breathe that it looked like it was one with his face, like it was one piece. It was the worst feeling in the world. And I'm trying to talk to him. I go to grab his hips to turn him, because mind you, the car's like this. I'm going up through the driver's side. I go to turn his body, and when I went to grab his waist and his midsection, I could feel it mush. Okay? Obviously, cops are coming. Now I hear them all coming. Here comes the helicopters. Mind you, he's he just started as the sheriff's department, so now every cop, as you can imagine, is there. Helicopters coming, fire department's there, everybody's there. They pull me aside, they're getting my statement. They say, hey, one of my other buddies that was a medic came up to me. I went to high school with. He came up to me, he goes, hey dude, you need to go tell his parents to come say their goodbyes. He's got 2 hours to live, maybe. So I get in my car, okay? They let me go, I get in my car, I take off back. You guys know, if you guys are from Riverside, you guys probably know Alessandro. So Alessandro is a 6-lane, big open street, and late at night, it's always empty, especially late at night. And the very top of that street is a communication for Riverside PD. That communication center, by the way, my father's a retired LA County Sheriff. I know how they operate. At the very top, there's that communication center. I know their hours. That light is always green. It's never red, ever. Here I go. I'm coming up. I'm doing about 120. Here comes a cop right out in front of me, and I hit the cop. Drinking. Six years, 3 strikes. felony injury, felony DUI, felony hit and run. I'm about to have a baby too. My buddies just got done dying in my arms, or close to dying in my arms. You ever heard that concept, there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole? When you're at your lowest, you actually kind of find God. This is just my first time. I feel like I've had to search for him quite a bit in my life. Long story short, they OR'd me out. I go get Lindsay Lohan's attorney, spend every dollar I got, but of course my insurance company doesn't fix my car. I was able to knock everything down to a misdemeanor DUI because I had a .01, .11, forgive me. So I wasn't too high. I'll tell you what, I was pretty fucking sober when I was driving, especially after my buddy was in my arms. Sitting in jail that night wasn't that big of a deal. But the disappointment that my family had, my friends, my business, that was a life-changing experience for me. Mind you, he did survive. Thank God. He's got 95% of his lungs, just had a baby, and married, and has literally moved on. I'm so proud of him. But that was a life-changing experience for me. Because not only was I losing everything, my ex, by the way, broke up with me at the time, so when we had the baby, we weren't together. I had to find out through my high school sweetheart that she was having a baby, so I showed up to the hospital, kind of like, hey, can I come in and see my son? And by the way, my mom left when I was 6 months old. I found her in 2017. I kind of went through this forgiveness thing, and I started searching for her, and I found her in 2017, hence the Barn Caves Project, which I'll share with you here in a bit. My father raised me with a really heavy hand, LA County Sheriff, never there, but instilled hard work, loyalty, all that fun stuff inside me. And my dad looked at me and I saw the disappointment in his face, and that broke my heart too. Now, of course, once you get OR'd out, it takes a while before you go through court. So you really don't know. You're like literally living in fear going, I'm going to jail for 6 years. Who knows what the hell. Well, I ended up getting a phone call 2 days after I got out. One of my buddies calls me, mind you, I just walked, I was in his wedding. His wife's sister, when I was in his wedding, I walked her down the aisle at his wedding. She was the female officer that I hit. She wrote a big long letter to the DA and goes, I know Ryan, he's the nicest guy. You need to know the story as to why he was driving like he was, where he came from, and what happened. And that's one of the reasons why they let me go, because it was my first offense. But I was being told while I'm sitting in jail that I'm not going to see my son. I'm not going to see him be born. With having such big shoes to fill with my father, it was like, just imagine like your soul gets sucked out of you, right? And so that really changed the way I build my relationships moving forward. And I think that right there, that one moment is why I raised so much money. Now, I've been watching other speakers here, and a lot of you guys haven't been keeping your eyes on it because you guys are looking at your phones, but right now, every single one of you are looking at me. The point to that is that when you're delivering a message to raise capital, you need to get their attention, and the number one thing that makes it connect with them is a personal connection. Almost every person I know that's wealthy that is investing with us has had 1, 2 marriages, couple litters. That's the way it goes. Successful people go through a lot of shit. Their first marriage, they go through the most. Okay? Yeah. They get beat up. They kind of hand over some of the wealth to the first wife. They raise their kids. They meet something a little bit younger. It's the way it goes. It's a cycle for whatever reason. It's just the way it goes. So when I meet somebody and I'm talking to them and I find out a younger wife, I can already tell you exactly what's going on. Okay, how long have you guys been married? Oh, 6 years. Any kids? Yeah, from a previous. Yeah, me too. Right? Immediately create a connection. And that's what people want. People are going to invest with pit bulls, people that are going to protect their money, people that are going to be a little more conservative and make sure that they have gone through a little bit in life to kick yourself in the teeth. So if you're not sharing those stories with your network, you have failed. If you're going to be that suit and tie guy, which, by the way, don't judge me. I bought this, and I was like, fuck, I got to wear it. It was so hot. I was like, dude, I'm sweating. I even brought towels up here to wipe my freaking self down. It's so hot. But I was like, all right, I got to get the content, whatever. It's chess, not checkers, right? So with that said, the number one thing you have to do when you're building an awareness for your investment is to have a personal connection with your investors. You are not going to have a lot of support from a lot of people because they're not going to like you. But the ones you want to like you are the ones you want to invest. And I'll tell you what, I think Rich said it really well, and that's a testament to having a track record and some history. Not all money is good money. You want investors that you can call and say, are you sitting down, standing up, shit's getting real, things are going bad, tariffs, politics. We're having a problem. Construction is not easy, and I deal with a lot of development. And you want to educate your clients. It's funny, I had the crowdfunding attorney. So I have 2 Regulation A's, public offerings. I've gone through all you can imagine of how much of it. We spend $50,000 a month in ads. I have a massive CRM. I have a huge staff. My overhead's like $200,000 a month just in salaries. That's not including any marketing, no subscriptions. That's just salaries for marketing. So from a crowdfunding side, we're the fastest crowdfunding company before the pandemic hit. I watched the seed rounds go out between, CrowdStreet, Realty Shares when they went under, Yield Street, all of the people that you guys are watching are looking at as you guys would respect in the business. Have you noticed that they are not pushing individual investments? They're pushing the platform for 2 reasons. One, for compliance. You are not supposed to put returns on your investment on marketing material. Did you know that? Securities attorney right there shaking her head. You put IRRs on your marketing material and send it out, you are going to get a phone call. And you don't want that call. Hi, this is such and such with the SEC. What's your name? You're like, hold on, what's your name? Don't say that shit, right? So there's a lot of stuff out there. You really need to know who you're dealing with. So now I've made all these mistakes. Now I haven't been picked, thank God. I'm kind of waiting for the call because we do so much marketing. But the point is that it's that connection. You want to know who you're dealing with. You want to be able to find the investors that genuinely like you and that have maybe a little bit of a background in what you're doing. They come from hospitality if you guys are going after hotels. Okay, that's important. So if you guys are sitting around caring too much about social media, like it's not going to work. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I love the social media professionals that were up here earlier. I think they gave you guys a wonderful starting point. But I've already done all of that, and it's not working for me. Okay? Now, we're getting to a point where if we have a Regulation A and I have too much of a small minimum investment, I lose investors because they're like, I don't want to deal with the small players. It's facts. Okay, now mind you, one of my securities attorneys is the crowdfunding law firm which wrote all of the Grant Cardone's Reg A's, which the very first Reg A Grant Cardone did. My first attorney respectfully fell on her feet. She had a lot of personal stuff going on. I actually took his public document. I actually wrote my first Reg A and submitted it and started going through comments. So I had to get into the trenches with the SEC to learn how the stuff works. But that's the only way to really get knee deep into it. So these attorneys are giving me the data. They're telling me it's hard to raise money right now. Bottom line, end of story. People don't have the discretionary funds. Everyone has fear. I mean, Warren Buffett pulled $278 billion out of the stock market, put it into a brokerage account, and is sitting on it to make, because he wants to figure out where he's going to park his money. That's a big deal. He's going into an all cash position. So did all my investors. So they're like, okay, let's just wait until the market falls out. Therefore, all the other investors are being patient before they make an investment. So you guys, the only investors that are really making investments right now are the ones that have to for tax purposes. They're forced to make an investment. If they don't identify it, don't make investments, you're going to have a problem. TIC. Anybody know what a TIC is? Tenant in common? 1031 exchange? That's a big play right now. Deferred sales trust. That's a big chunk. The tax guy out here knows a lot. Him and I are going to geek out later. I already know. I got a tequila bottle. We're going nuts.
Hey guys, if you're looking to get into real estate investing, but you're like, hey, I don't have the time, but you want to participate in the passive income, the tax benefits, and the wealth building, my company, Summers Capital, partners with limited partners, people like yourself, and we go out and buy boutique hotels. We have a fund where we currently own 5 hotels, and we currently have a wait list for investors to participate with us. If you want to learn more to see if this is a fit for you, you can go to summerscapital.com/invest to inquire and get on our wait list and be notified next time we have an opportunity. Again, summerscapital.com/invest. Now back to the show.
So those are the things so you got to understand, if you want to be successful, you need to know who's moving money. Where are you guys collecting the data? I'm going to give you some information that I would charge you 50 grand, 100 or 150 grand. If you call me and you guys are looking for something, I'm going to charge you money. So if I were you, I'd either pull out your phones or write this down. So I'm going to give you some serious information you need to know. If you guys want to go from small capital raising to larger check writers, you got to start somewhere, but you need to start positioning yourselves as if you're bigger than you really are. You need to put yourselves in positions where you're becoming more institutionalized and you're scalable. infrastructure is number one. I'm going to show you guys, we have a high rise now that I had a developer come to me and said, hey, I need you to help me raise the capital. I have developers coming to me all the time that are kind of a 1-2-man band, but they don't have the back office infrastructure, the bookkeeping, the fund control, lien releases, tax prep, CPAs. They don't have that, we do. And these aren't small players. These are guys that have been doing $70 billion in multi-asset class portfolio management with interest, exits, debt, equity, multiple investors, Carlyle groups, all of it. I have learned from those guys on how to build the infrastructure and create the pathway to be more institutionalized, because you will, if you work hard enough, go from 1 flip, 2 flip, 1 hotel, 2 hotel, to building master plan communities. That's the whole goal. I'm going to be honest, I don't think people really want to be that. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I were to do it again, I'd do it differently. Because I've lost a lot and a lot of people that I love in my life. So I want to give you guys some information. Number one, Green Street Advisors. Green Street Advisors is the number one data source for third-party reports, feasibility studies in the country for pension funds, hedge funds, alternative assets, real estate based only. You guys want to know how bad office is? They'll tell you in every demographic and every location in the country. I can show you how many people are converting office space into multifamily and how bad that has fucked up a bunch of new development that are coming online. And let's just say Nashville as an example. Those new developers that are just developing new products, you have a lot of old office space that just got destroyed during the pandemic. And so the owners of those buildings are selling them for like a fraction to developers or builders that are actually repurposing them into multifamily. So how many multifamily units are coming online real fast? So that creates a bottleneck. And then you have an affordability problem right now with inflation. I'm gonna say inflammation. I need some something for my headache, I think. But for what's going on in the world, the cost of living, right? So you're having a problem there. Jobs you're not getting raises. You're just not seeing that right now. So you don't have the migration that you used to. So the 5 year ago, forecast to go ahead and start doing these $500 million projects as they're now coming online, we have a problem. So what do? How are you going to pivot around that? Well, when you're a big institution, you can write it off, and your investors, they don't matter. Here's that secret. Investors are going out of institutions. They don't believe in media anymore. They don't believe in the stock market anymore. They're getting tired of the ups and downs and the anxiety of what's going on by one tweet from Elon Musk, and that's going to change everything. And they're going to all cash positions, and they're investing with smaller operators, like you guys. So you guys are literally positioned perfectly to expand your business and start building something special for yourself and your family. There's a lot of people right now that don't know what to do. They're scared. And you want to know, hey, have you lost something before? Have you made investments before? Like, what did you do? What happened? Get to know them. This gentleman I sat with last night, and I think he just was like, on some of the stuff I developed.
I didn't go to sleep last night.
Sorry. But what did I tell you? What did I tell you about family? I said, you want to grow and you want to get big? And you told me, yeah. And I said, do what? Lean, mean, and land and entitlements, so you don't lose your family, right? Let me ask you this. If you had $50,000, would you invest into one of my projects? Okay. The point is because I'm building a connection, by the way. I'm not, just so you know, you haven't even seen my project, so I already knew you were going to say yeah. That was you're going to say no in front of all this group? I knew you were going to say yeah. But the point is, it's the connection. It's the one-on-one. This lovely young lady over here, Caroline, she told me a little bit about her personal story and how much I appreciated that, and I saw her today, and we have a connection. Is that correct? So the point is you want to build that connection. So Green Street Advisors is one of your, third-party reports. So here's what you do. When you're opening up a fund, a 506C, a 506B, let me ask you this. Does anybody know what a Reg D offering is? How many don't? Well, you're not allowed. How many people don't know? Okay, you want me to talk on that real quick? Okay. So I think everything that Rich has is what you call a 506C Reg D. That is ultimately, it's an SEC regulation on how, and it's just the verbiage for you to open up a fund to go raise capital. And what you're doing is you're notifying the fund that I'm opening up a specific business and I'm going to raise money, and then you have to file that with the SEC, and you got to notify them when you're raising the capital and who the investors are. So Green Street Advisors tracks all of those investors that go into every fund into the SEC. It's called EDGAR when you upload it. The other company I want you guys to look up is called Preqin. Preqin is a system and a software that tracks every investment in the world. What's the fastest growing industry right now? Does anybody know? Let's just say about healthcare. Healthcare is one of them. AI, definitely. But the healthcare overall is probably the largest capital infused in the world right now. Why? Baby boomers. They're becoming more frail. It's the largest generation, and they also have wealth. They're going to spend money. I don't know about you guys. I feel like I'm dating myself here, and I'm older than most of you guys in here. But I would say that you guys are all starting to spend more money on health, right? Stress, mental, all the stuff. And so healthcare is a massive data to track. Why? It's a lifestyle people are going to maneuver to focus on healthcare. So you're looking at retirement locations. That's why Lake Havasu, which is basically a big retirement location out of Southern California, for me, where I develop a lot, is a big deal because you have so many people migrating out of Southern California from many different reasons, but they're retiring there and they're spending all their money on boats, RVs, all the fun stuff. That's what happens. So I'm just building a product according to the demand, right? So Preqin's another one. Now, the CRM that I use, guys, and I would recommend just because you can scale as you go, is called HubSpot. Very, very friendly CRM, okay? I'm going to give you guys a couple more things that you probably want to write down. This is kind of important. It's called the workflow. So whether you guys are just driving traffic to a landing page that's married to the CRM where people can put their information in and you capture their information, right? Because everybody's got, a lead page on their website, right? For the most part, you should. Right? You can fill in your information, I want more info, type in your information, someone calls you, standard stuff. Actually, that's how I got you, huh? And you came here to see me, buddy, I appreciate you. So one of my investors, by the way. So what I did is, what we did overall, I'll give my team the credit. What we did is we do ads on Meta. We do Instagram and Meta. That's really kind of our focus on ads, okay? Podcasts, absolutely super positive, but our bread and butter has been Facebook ads. It was so true. They were talking about kind of where you're going to get the most of your fruit. Baby boomers, when you look at my investor list, they're all boomers. I get some smaller investors off the Instagram stuff, but they're smaller players. They're, 25, 15 grand, 25. Very rarely do I get the $200,000, $500,000 players on Instagram, but I do on Facebook a lot. So what happens is we have an ad. People click on the ad. We capture their information, and it gets sent to a landing page. They get that on the landing page. We have podcasts, webinars, all the stuff that you can watch on the landing page. Basically, it's a pitch deck, okay? And they can get all the information. And then we call them and we chase them down, right? Now, in the workflow, when they click in it, we get an ad. So when they get the lead comes in through HubSpot or CRM. We have what you call a workflow. We have an automatic email goes out. We have an automatic text message that goes out. And we do not pretend like we are someone on the other end of that. We say, this is an automatic text. Thank you for your inquiry. Very professional. Here's a link to schedule an appointment for a conversation, right? And what we do is personality match. It goes into a calendar that has me, my CEO, my CFA, like all these people that they can have a conversation with that they feel based on the picture and their bio on who they want to schedule a call with. So it's a little easier that way, and you'd be surprised how much that actually is effective, okay? And then we have automatic text messages that go out. Honestly, text messages is where it's at. We have so many responses. We book so many meetings through text messages. That's where it's at. And to be honest with you, it's just that simple. You do not less is more when it comes to generating leads. I promise you. You go too much and trying to think through too much and too much AI, you're just going to blow your wad and things are just going to change all the time. And you're going to spend a lot of money on salaries. I promise you, we've done it all. I have $9 million in the infrastructure of my own money in my entire platform. And I will tell you, we've finally narrowed it down to what really works. Now, of course, the market shifted. We've had to shift too. But that's a lot of money I had to spend to figure it out. So I'm basically saying, here you go. Okay? So those are the things you want. Text messages are really, really, really important. One of the things I think that separates us, and this is just maybe a little far out, but I have a camera on every one of our projects, because we do most of the ground-up construction. So we put a camera up on every one of our sites, and our investors can log in live in real time and watch the project being built. So when I provide you an update on a video, okay, that I send out to my CRM of investors that made the investment. They can track and go log on and confirm that what I'm telling them, hey, lumber is going to be delivered, hey, we just poured the foundation, whatever it is, they can log on and see live in real time that it's being done. That minimizes the stress, too, of what's going on in the world and in the market. Because when the pandemic hit, I'll tell you right now, I told my entire team I'm taking calls from investors right now. When Trump got shot, I got tons of phone calls from my investors. And the last thing you want is to take those calls all the time when things go wrong, okay? A little more color. When you have investors with you for so long, they feel like you can give them advice in life. And they're going to have problems. They're going to go through marriages. Anybody know what the divorce rate is? You have, you have, let's say, 50 married couples making an investment with you in 1 year. 50 of them are going to call you in 3 or 4 years and say, hey, I'm going through a divorce. I need to divide assets. What do we do? That shit happens all the time. We just had a lady that got diagnosed from cancer and her husband died. And she needed her money back. And these are people that I've known for 10 years. I built a relationship with them. So be prepared to know what you're getting yourself into when you start raising capital with people. It's not what y'all think it can be. There's a lot of hand-holding, a lot of management, but it's all about transparency and creating systems to be able to communicate with them effectively and give them, basically a word of, what's going on. Now, the other thing too is always be real and tell them, do you know what you're getting yourself into? I don't want you to call me down the road and play this card. Oh, I don't know what I was getting myself into and I signed docs anyways. No, don't do that to me. That's not fair, right? So that's important. So to go back, the 506C Reg D offering, that is a fund which ultimately is just a disclosure document. It's nothing special, guys. It's just a disclosure document. It's just saying, hey, here are all the risks. You guys are going to invest into this specific project. Here is the business plan. And you guys sign on the dotted line. You make the investment, and you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And what that does is it protects you as the operator. A lot of people don't know this. It protects you as the operator for somebody saying, well, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, right? Like, no, you sure did. Here's a whole disclosure package. Here's what we produced to you. Everything's been on track. Everything's been fine. You can't say that. That's one. Two, it also protects the other investors too. Because if they claim fraud or they say something you weren't being honest or transparent, then they're obviously can sue you, and that starts creating problems, massive problems. Well, you want to protect the other investors if somebody goes wrong. And how many people have had turnover in friendships and relationships, and people just go wrong, it's the way it goes. You wake up one morning, sometimes you don't know who the hell you married. Been there, kind of. So, the reality is you have to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and that's important. Again, what I said today was this would be a little more unorthodox. I want you to be mentally prepared for what you're getting yourself into, but you also need to know how hard it is to raise money. It's the hardest thing you will ever do. My old mentor said either people have it or they don't. And it's so true. It is so true. I'll tell you what, when I did my first big raise without a big team, I fired everybody because they weren't working hard enough. It was like make or break it. We've all had those scenarios. I literally had tears in my eyes. My wife would take my kids to the beach on the weekends during the summer, and I literally sat at the kitchen table Saturdays and Sundays all day during the week and made phone calls and banged it out and raised like $15 million in 90 days. I needed that to happen. And I did it without anybody's help. But I tore my soul apart because I had to fire everybody that I thought was going to help me get there. They weren't working hard enough. We had all the leads come in. They weren't fielding them. We have investors. We have money right here in the CRM, and we're not banging on it. Like, dude, what the fuck? I'm spending $30,000 to $50,000 a month on ads. This is insane. So the other thing is if you have a team, that team needs to be fully bought in. And they need to know when you do a raise, it's working weekends, it's working until you conquer the mission. You do not stop working. It is just the way it goes. I promise you. The other side of it is we kind of became more institutionalized. So what you're hearing is, a gentleman up here said that he opened up a new Reg A. That's true. A lot of people, the reason why they start opening up Reg A's is because they do have a big following on social media. They can do mass, like one or two, posts can drive a lot of traffic if you have a $5,000 minimum. But when you have that many investors, you have that many hands you have to hold. It's very, very difficult to raise capital right now. It's a lot of tax returns. Just so you know, it's $1,000 for every time you have a new investor on average to file a tax return for them or file a 1099 or a K1 on average. If you got 300 investors, 200 investors, that's $200,000 a year just in prep for that specific series. Okay? Now, the bigger issue is, do you have a CPA that can handle that? We've been there too. Do you know how many pissed off investors that happened when they were like, we have to extend our taxes, our tax return filings because we were waiting for your fucking K1? I lost a lot of clients over having a Reg A offering. So those smaller offerings, unless you have a robust back office, is not valuable, I promise you. Okay? You also have to provide audits. My very first year audit was 175 grand. Just pulling shit, man, out of my butt to try to make this stuff happen. So you need to know what you're getting yourself into. What I would tell you is don't go after non-accredited. Only open up a 506c, which is for accredited investors. Are you guys familiar with that term? Okay, accredited investors, more high net worth, $300,000 a year, average income between a married couple, $250 if you're single, okay? And or $1 million net worth, not including your owner occupied property. Smartest thing to do is have a third-party company verify that investor before they make the investment. You get a certificate, they upload, it's a different system, just an online system, takes about 10 minutes. Upload tax returns, financial statements, W-2s, whatever it is, to proof that they have that value or they're accredited. And then you, as that operator, that fund manager, gets that certificate, and now the investor can make the investment. Does that make sense? Stay there. I promise you that's where you want to be. 506C. Difference between B and a C is friends and family is a B, okay? So that means you cannot solicit. You can't go online, you can't tell people that you're raising capital. Cannot solicit. I don't think that's any of you guys here, so make sure you put a C back there. Okay, I don't want to go too far on the difference of a B. You could have 35 non-accredited investors in it and the whole thing, but don't worry about that. You guys want to solicit, okay? Because you're really starting to build your brand, right? One of the things that's probably gearing us to make us, I would say, successful in today's market, because you can go online and see how many offerings, how many people are making investments, how many apartments you can invest into, how many invest in this land deal, invest in this storage project, invest over here. It's just everywhere. It's flooded, right? Tons, it's just flooded. So you have to set yourself apart. Our product definitely sets ourselves apart. We've branded ourselves as the man cave developers. We build man caves, single family man caves, people want them. I could sit at a bar with anybody and be like, oh, what do you do for a living? Like, oh, private equity. You're like, oh, that's cool. Or I can be like, oh, I build man caves. Sparks that conversation right up. It's so cool. We build man caves, right? I'll show you guys here in a second. But I have one of my projects is I'm building a gym inside a residential community. So think of 100 units of residential community, a big residential community. You got to have a pool. You got to have a little gym, right? A little community center. What I did is I separated a community center, built a big 45,000 square foot gym, and hung a chandelier, a Lamborghini as a chandelier in the middle of the gym. But the pool was also designed from the pool called Beach Club Drift in Dubai. If you want to pull out your Instagram and follow that. It's one of the most recognized pool party beach clubs in the world. So just the PR of that, and by the way, it's 25 feet wide. It's a perfect kind of square, if you will, and 75 feet long. And it has this one big square. It's only like 4 feet deep. It's super cheap to build, but I used that as branding, and I couldn't even tell you how much that stuck. That alone, mind you, I have 93 units. I have 1,200 people on a waiting list. Not one of them balked at buying one of these units, and I have 43 of them in escrow, and I just started grading. I already know what my future value is. I can guarantee my returns as long as I build on time and my costs are where they are. You just ruined everything. Kidding. So anyways, okay, so I want to open up for a question and answer because I can talk until I'm blue in the face. You guys want to start raising capital. Number one thing is make sure that you guys are building relationships. The other thing that I've done I think is really important. So you need to tie yourself with the right people associated to what you're doing. For example, my architect was the guy who remodeled the Pentagon. That was a $1.7 billion contract. He builds high rises. The guy's insane. I mean, that's a great guy to have in your back pocket, right? Because why? Even though I spend the money for somebody at that caliber, they're helping me focus on my cost of development because everything they're doing right now is relevant. Their developers are currently building. I can say, I need this product, I need this contractor, I need this, I need this, I need this, and they're giving it to me. But they're also focusing on construction methods to keep my costs down because this is the good practice. So even though I spend more money for that type of caliber of individual to be a partner, I'm cutting so much cost because of the nature of how he's going to show us how to build it. okay? But then I have his name tied to it as well, which helps us actually get people to trust that we're involved. Sure. By the way, I said yes earlier. I saw you. So, so what I did, and I thought this was really key. So what you have is a, what I call a data room. It's like just call it a Dropbox, if you will. What I did is I brought in my engineers, my architects, my contractors, my subs, my electricians, all of them. I brought all of them in, including past investors. By the way, the best way to raise capital is using past investors as testimonials. If you got testimonials, it's a big deal. You go to our YouTube, it's everywhere. Tons of testimonials. How many you're going to upload pretty soon, Joe? Yeah, we have 6 more of happy clients. We have one right here. That's huge. But that data room has podcasts and webinars with all of these people. I did one webinar and raised $5.4 million in one webinar. Webinars is live. Webinars are the most effective. Market for 30 days, hit your CRM, create a landing page, post it on your story, boost your story, pay to play, drive that story in front of people, get a link, have everyone start clicking on that link, register for it. And I tell everybody, just register for it. Even if you don't make it, you're going to get the video afterwards. And when you get the video and you open the video, my system's going to track that you watched it, and one of my people are going to get notified, and my sales team's going to call them and say, hey, you have any last questions? Right? So inside that is I've brought everybody in so that my investors get the chance to see all of the people that are involved. And my architects, my engineers, my electricians, my subs, all literally have come in with less or more than 100,000 as their own personal investment. So now in what I call pregnant, you want to get your money back plus your return? I don't think he's going to deliver for me. So I go to my guys and say, you want a part of this branding? I'll cross-market you. I will build your brand with my exposure, but I need you to write a check for $100,000. I'm going to my subs. I'm telling my subs to do that. I have a grader that's going to give me 1.1 million. He's going to push in his own equity and do all my grading for 1.1 million. That's an equity slug. It's an LP right there. If I don't have to physically come out of pocket with the money, it was going to cost me 1.1 anyway. He owns a grading company. It's all the same. See where I'm going? That's how you get the deal done. 506C Reg Ds, Green Street Advisors, that's who you want to be in essence, your appraiser. They do all your data. You're going to take that data, you're going to put it in your offerings, you're going to put it in your pitch decks, you're going to send it to your investors. Real quick, this is how you want to look at your offerings. If you guys can see these things up here, I don't know which way it works. It ain't working. Lauren, it's all your fault. I want 5 more minutes. All right. Keep going. It's not working. Yep. Just quick slides. Just go through it. So this is what you want. So I have a $100 million debt fund. That's one of our man cave developments. I have, if any of you guys race dirt bikes, Jeremy McGrath is in there. All the who's who. We have like side tilt trailer, multi-million-dollar, toys and all these projects. Keep going. Just go through it quick. The idea is to just show track record. Keep going. We're delivering apartments in San Antonio. These are our partners. Okay. So here you go. Go back to that last one. This is important. Okay, MGO, that's a good one for CPA. Carlton Field is my securities attorney. They're really big. They're also my litigation attorney. CBiz is a law firm that does all my does all my audits. They're a private equity pickup. So it was Markham LLP. They just got picked up by CBiz. Crowdfunding attorneys is there as well. My broker, by the way, whoever's selling and managing all of the exits of your development, get the #1 top guy. Don't be loyal to your friends that have a fucking real estate license. Stop right now. Go get the biggest player to list your shit and let them use their network to help sell it. Just trust me on that. He's number 10 in the country and #1 in the state. So he's just doing $250, $300 million a year. So he's just slaying it. So you want those type of players associated to it. That makes you more institutionalized. It makes people to believe that you have all of the right pieces in place to successfully raise the capital. Does that make sense? So you got your CRM, your personal connections, you got HubSpot, you got workflows, you got Green Street Advisors for data, third-party data like an appraisal, and that's kind of all you need to do. 506C Reg D, okay, is your offering for your disclosure package. You can talk to her and her firm. She'll probably prep it for you. I don't even know if that's true, but you can probably work with her. But so you guys right here, there you go. And if I were you, follow me on social media. What you're going to see is I am totally personal on social media, and that's how I raise the capital. But we are doing a lot more high net. I have a family office that came in with $18 million. I have another $32 million slug. We have an $87 million line of credit with JP Morgan. The list goes on, but we had to start somewhere, right? I think you got that email, huh? That we just got that line. So, those are the things that you can get to. And I did it by slinging mortgages right? But the takeaway was I got kicked in the teeth. The shit ain't easy. Your life's going to suck. You're going to have a lot of hardship. And when you get down on that, you're going to realize that the value in life is the connections that you have. Building, and it'll be with those investors. They're relying on, these are their IRAs, 401ks. They've gone through divorces and scares of illnesses and so forth. They are going to ask you, I'm going to roll my 401k into an IRA, and then I'm going to invest my life savings with you. And they're going to look in your eyes and they're going to beg you to take care of them. And that's your job. That's a higher calling. You're not just taking care of your personal affairs, you're taking care of other people's families now. That's biblical. Act like it. Cool. That's it, guys.
Hey guys.